Gerson, one of the things that I was sort of alluding to is, you not only sort of worked your way up by making relationships and thriving in a corporate environment, you made it your point to develop a very powerful skill set along the way. And I am always fascinated by that. People talk about how important it is to surround yourself with successful people if you want to be successful. But I always say that you have to bring something to the table. You have to be great at something first, and then you have something to offer. So first, if you could just sort of, give me your thoughts about that, and then I've got a couple other questions that I'd like to ask.
No, I appreciate the compliment, Gary, and I would tell you there's so much truth to that. I came into an industry where I didn't play in the NBA, I didn't coach in the NBA, I got into the front office from the ground up, and I've had to recreate myself in a lot of different ways. I'm passionate for the sport, but that's not the end-all and be-all for everything. You have to have a developed skill set. I was fortunate to be in Houston with the Rockets with the likes of Rudy Tomjanovich and Carol Dawson and Dennis Lindsey, who really reared me up in the basketball side. I had a background in coaching and player development, and we changed leadership there. And Daryl Morey came in, who's one of the analytics pioneers, and I had to adjust. And it became from being basketball heavy, basketball focused, to really understanding the analytics and how that would impact the league. And it was a huge advantage for me in that one of the pioneers comes in, really changes the league in a lot of positive ways. And I was there. And I don't classify myself as an analytic, but in some ways I can say I speak the language and I understand what's going on. And the ability to have that balance of not only having a basketball background, but having the understanding of analytics and being to translate it to people is something that's very powerful. And to your point, you can't stay with status quo. You have to continue to grow and learn, and the game just develops so fast with technology and resources and everything that's out there. You get left behind. And this is a results-driven business where if you can't grow, learn, keep an open mind, and apply modernization to the game, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be able to compete.
That's great. One of the things that I've said, and this is maybe not perfectly true, but I believe success is a factor of what you know, which is what we're talking about, and who you know. And I've always said also to people that it's always irked me when people say, I made it on my own, that nobody gave me a shot, I did it all on my own. And people do say that. And I don't believe that. I believe that somewhere down the line, somebody mentored you, somebody opened a door for you, somebody took a chance with you. Who were some of the people that did that for you, Gerson?
It's a great question because I'm very humbled at the opportunity to be here and having had the experience and the career that I've had, because it couldn't have happened on my own. I do think one of the biggest things is your passion, and that's what people recognize. I love sports. Actually, baseball was my first love. Started playing basketball and fell in love with it and knew that's what I wanted to do. I went to the University of Houston, got an academic scholarship, and through that program, I was given a large group of mentors, which really changed my career. And it's interesting because, mentoring is so powerful and so impactful, but you have to be open-minded. Early on, some of the biggest mentors that I had were women.
Wow.
And they were women at the University of Houston, legislators there in Houston, and they saw this Colombian immigrant who was passionate about basketball and wanted to get in the industry, but didn't know anybody, and I didn't. So I had a Carol Alvarado, representative in Texas, based out of Houston, who decided that she was going to connect me with the CEO of the Houston Rockets.
Wow.
And opened the door for me. I had a meeting. The CEO was like, hey, I'm in business, not in basketball, but I'm going to connect you with somebody in basketball. I had the opportunity to meet with Dennis Lindsey, who was the president of the Utah Jazz. He's with the Mavericks.
And you were how old?
I was 21.
Wow.
And I sat down with him, told him my passion, told him my desires to learn, that I needed mentors, that I needed guidance, and he took me under his wing. I've had numerous people that have taken the time to really show me the ropes in terms of how this path goes. And sometimes they tell you truth, things that you don't want to hear. Yeah. After 2 years as an intern in Houston with the Rockets, Dennis Lindsay sat me down and he said, hey, if I had a full-time job for you right now, you're not qualified. You need more experience. And, you know, as excited as I was to be there, I knew that that was the truth and that was the reality. And I had to take a step back. I coached high school, I coached college, and then the door opened. He called me 2 years later and said, hey, now you have the experience, now you have the credibility to be able to come into this role. And that meant a lot to me. I mean, we don't know it all. We, especially in our industry, it's so hard, and we talk about it with some of the other honorees. If we had the opportunity to have people that looked like us, that had journeys like us, that could share with us what the path and the process looks like, it would have helped us get further. The reality is we are where we're at. And now the opportunity is, or the responsibility, I should say, is for myself and others to pave the way and to help others, because I don't want to be the only one. I want to motivate Latinos and Latinas to know that they can do this. And we're at an age where if you're willing to take the guidance and you have humility and you have a work ethic and you're really passionate about it, there's opportunities to get there.
That's remarkable. That's great. I'll finish this by saying, you know, kind of piggybacking on this idea of people opening doors and mentoring and giving us that first break. Saul and I talk a lot about the Latino cabal. That's probably not a great politically correct way to characterize it, but that we're building in Latitude.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with that?
That we're building in Latitude, that we have each other, a support network, to be able to, you know, connect with somebody maybe in an adjacent field that can give some feedback. Or you can call somebody, you know, in the media sector that, you know, hey, I want to introduce somebody to you that wants a career in your company, and I can vouch for him and that sort of thing. That's how things happen. Absolutely. I mean, that's just the way things happen. So I'm delighted that, you know, I've gotten the chance to get to know you. I'm thrilled for your success, and congratulations on your honor today.
Thank you very much, Gary. So